Paul Peregrine here at FourSquare. We're back in the studio and we're going to show you a little bit how to use the FourSquare, basically a little bit how to light with Speedlights. So we're taking a little bit of a different take on what we've done before in the classic kind of setup, but welcome to the studio. What we're going to be doing is a photograph of a knife. This is one of my knives, and the idea for this came when I saw a recent publication that had a photograph of a hunting knife in it, and I said, you know, that's kind of got some complex surfaces and some interesting things to work with, so let's show you what we did. First of all, started out with a Nikon D3S, and we have their new 28-300 lens on it. I've got it almost all the way out to 300 millimeters. So somebody's going to ask, well, why didn't you use a macro or whatever? It's because the perspective I get with the 300 focal length makes it that much different. You could certainly do macro lens, but you know, I did my personal taste. I kind of like this. But you're going to be able to see all those pictures as Tim and I put them together in the video and put them up on the blog, etc. So next we've got a FourSquare box. And for all of you out there, don't get too excited. It's a prototype box. It's got a special interior called silver. We're not making it yet, so I don't want any emails or phone calls. So right here I've got a standard PC cord that goes into the box, right into the PC side sink on the Nikon SB900. Now, back behind that, we've got another Nikon SB900. And it's kind of doing a little edge light. In our background, back here, we've got another SB900, and it's on a sink. We've got a sheet background, and maybe it's the gong you get, I'm not sure. And up here, we've got another SB900 on a zoot snoot, and it's kind of focusing a little highlight on the knife. And here we've got a white fill board that is putting a nice edge on the spine of the blade and throughout the hilt. Now, what you can't see right here is another little square card of foam core that we're reflecting a little bit right into kind of fill in the hilt. Here's our lighting diagram. If you'd like a copy, go to the blog at peregrinestudios.com. So it's not really too complicated of a setup, but as you may go back and look at the blog, we did our first set was kind of a quick and dirty, how you might do it run and gun, if you will. That particular background we used milk plexi and a piece of black velvet, and we did basically a double exposure. We exposed for a really cool background, then we put the black velvet over the milk plexi, and then we lit the knife. Now that gives you a whole different kind of look than this. What I ended up doing was saying, okay, let's try and make it a little sexier, a little more dramatic, a little more interesting, and that's what we did. So why don't you hang tight for a second, come around here, and I'll show you one of the little tricks we did with the FourSquare softbox. So one of the things that Tim and I decided to do when we were working on this project is that we noticed it was going to need a little bit more diffusion. So we've got an extra diffusion in front of the FourSquare box. And we also noticed that the edge of the Velcro here was giving a real funky kind of wave into the knife. And I think there's going to be an example in the blog post or in the video showing you exactly what that looked like. Well, we solved that by taking that extra diffusion and wrapping it around the corner so it was reflecting the white and not reflecting the black of the Velcro. So in proceeding through that still, we decided that it needed yet another piece of diffusion. So it is diffused 3 times. And in doing that, it just kind of makes it a little bit softer. We're sucking up a little bit of light, and it kind of models it, makes it a little softer. Now the other one of the real key things I like are these little clips. They come from Home Depot or Lowe's, but they work great for putting things like extra diffusion on softboxes, whether it's a FourSquare, a Chimera, a Plume wafer, whatever. They're just great for doing that. But let's come around and let's see the back side of the FourSquare now and show you one of the little tricks we're going to talk about. So one of the things that you can't do with what I'm going to call a normal softbox is move the head within the box. And right here, and let me show you, this is where we end up in our final picture that you'll see on the video and the blog. This is the final direction of the head that is lighting the knife. Now that looks a little strange because it's into the side of the box, but the knife is over there. So we're basically bouncing it off the box and lighting it indirectly. But we're also showing you what happens when the head's placed there, what the light looks like. And when the head's placed there, when the head's placed here, when the head's placed here, and here. You get to see all of the different images that everything else in the set stayed the same. Our highlights, our background, our little spot, everything's the same. The only thing we've moved is the head. And you'll notice that it really does make a difference on how it looks. It's kind of neat because you can play with the light inside of the box where you can't do that if you were using a Dynalite, a Speeditron, a Norman, a Profoto, a Broncolor. You know, it's going to just sit right here in the box and flash forward. You can't take that head and rotate it in the box. You just can't do it. It's not designed that way. But with these little guys, like the Canon and the Nikon flashes, particularly that's SB900, it just is a wonderful, I mean, you can aim that little puppy up. It's just amazing what you can do in just moving the head and not changing anything else on the set. It's really pretty cool. So a couple of the other things with this, yes, it's a prototype silver box, we know that. Up in here on this particular head, we've got another SB900. We've got a full CTO gel. That full CTO gel is blasting through and giving a little bit of a backlight orange glow to the knife. You'll be able to see that in the handle. The handle is a brown micarta, and it gives a nice little edge light, and it's actually just skimming across the handle. Then we've got down here on the background, if I'll step in here, this is the background light. We've got the CTO at a half, like so, and you could also put it full. Either way, it's a couple of ways of doing it, or you could put a CTB below there and blend the two on the background. Now, the main light is triggered with a regular PC cable, but all of my extra SB900s are triggered with a little Nissan shoe slave, and we tested a lot of other slaves in the last couple of days, and let me tell you, it's been a little bit of a challenge to find which ones work and which ones don't. I don't know why, but these little guys from years gone by happen to work the best. But it's just a little optical slave. It's triggering the background light, our side light, and our Zoot light. So they work great. I just got to find some more of them. Then we've got up here, our little highlight edge is nothing more than a Zoot on another SB900, and it has a CTO on it, and it's snooted down, white side in, and we're just putting an edge light on the knife. So it's kind of simple, but it took Tim and I to kind of make this right so we could explain it simply and hopefully quickly, a couple of days to kind of go through everything so we could make this more easy and simple to understand. Now let's come around and take a look at the knife itself. So just by turning it, you're able to kind of find the plane on the knife that you want to start with. And then after you've got that done, we started adding a background. And we played with the background a while until we got it right. Then we said, oh, we want a little bit more of an edge light. So we added our CTO on another SB900, and then we needed a highlight on the top to separate it from the background. So it all sounds relatively simple, and it is. It's patience. That's all it is patience. So I hope you picked up a few things from today's little lesson. If you have any questions or you want to email us, the email address is sales@lightwaredirect.com. If I can't answer it, I'll find the answer, and if maybe Tim knows it, Tim will send it to you. But either way, any questions on the set, fire it off. This is our first one, and as we come up with more ideas, we'll be posting them, and if we can help you with anything, let us know. Thanks for stopping. Paul Peregrine at FourSquare.